For anybody that can't see it, DeckOfManyThings' natural handguard is just the characterization of him, actually.
Hmm.
He took a self-portrait and put it on there.
I can't believe he's got that as his handguard.
Nothing about that surprises me. So it's DeckOfManyThings playing as Lionel Flynn versus Pheelon playing as
All of the
Zared.
Stormcloud sleeves. I'm pretty happy we got those
Oh
finally.
yeah, double Stormcloud sleeves. Funny thing, about 8 days after we get the Stormcloud sleeves, Infamous Neo messages me going, "We got your Stormcloud sleeves!" Like, yeah. Yeah, we did. Where have you been? What have you been doing?
Not playing Hex.
That's clear. That's clear. Pheelon leading off with the Blood Shard. Zared, one. Zared on his own is sort of removal that we're not used to in set 2, really, because first of all, nobody's been playing it. Second of all, it's just like making up for the lack of removal, I suppose. I think it combos a little less well with things, but it gets rid of, say, Royal Cutblood and Tormented Ritualist real good.
Oh no. Did you see that ability?
Ha!
What ability? What did I miss?
Highland's
the
Magus
Colin-
has Spell Shield.
Oh, the mages. That's a thing that can happen. Highlands Magus, a 1/2 for 2, will gain a random inspire power aside from Life Drain when it enters the field. In this case, it gained Spell Shield, which was ultra powerful until DeckOfManyThings said not just no, but heck no. So, Crackling Bolt played, gets rid of that. Pheelon, maybe he's just going to throw another call-in down. Maybe another
Probably not
Highlands
gonna have
Magus.
spell shield though.
No, he plays a Stormcloud awkwardly, and I'm sure everyone
Yeah,
here
they're
who plays the
awkward.
game caught it. Played a
Yeah.
Stormcloud after playing a Shard. Stormcloud is 0/2 for 2 with Flight, gains a counter every time you gain a charge. Every charge you gain, when it explodes, when it, as a basic action, sacrifices itself into a storm, creates a Stormling, one of 3 different, fairly powerful 1/1s with Flight. It's actually the first Sapphire we've seen outside of the first featured match with Infamous Neo. So that's cool. Stormcloud gaining a charge should be at 2. It's at 1.
So I think he's playing the team deck here because I'm pretty sure I know what he's got going on this one. Pheelon's actually one of the members of the Dragonborn, so
Yeah, I was thinking for future signups and things like that, that they can choose to tell us what country they're from, so we can include like a flag or something, or maybe guild.
You're getting pretty involved in all of this. What do you figure the proper time to pop a Stormcloud is?
You know, the best time is after you've played it and then played your shard. And
This
Got
would have been
multiple charges
much better than playing a Shard, then playing a Stormcloud, then popping it.
I mean, obviously it
all-
depends what you're against. If you're not against crackling bolts, then you just leave it there as long as you want and pop at the last possible moment. But here, I mean,
probably about 3 most of the time, wouldn't you say, Neo?
I don't know, man. There's a lot of decks where you can just leave it there and not worry about it. Especially if you're running Monsoon and things like that. Like, I don't know. 3 seems like not enough. Like, you want a good chance of getting Bitty Bolt and Thunder thingy, whatever his name is.
Thunderpuff.
Thunderpuff. You want to get both of those at the same time, because if you get either one of them, it's not that great.
Yeah, I mean it really is.
Splashy, right?
Well, Splashy's always good.
Yeah.
Well,
Bitty Bolt
like-
and Splashy, yeah.
In
Have you guys ever noticed a
Blood
trend?
Cup.
Sorry to cut you off, Tech, but
Thanks.
have you guys ever noticed a trend where if you like pop a Stormcloud with like 6 or 7 charges, you get like 5 of 1? Like you feel like your run is really unlucky, kind of thing. Because that's happened to me like a couple of times popping Storm Cloud. Like I don't get some sort of like, because like the odds dictate that you would get at least a semi. Like over time, you would eventually have like a semi. Yeah,
Right.
but it just seemed to not be the case for me. So Zared Charge Power knocking down the Stink Troll to 2-1. I guess Pheelon buying time. Deck of Many Things, 4 resources, 5 charges. Hasn't played anything other than that Stink Troll and Crackling Bolt. Still has 5 cards in hand, though.
He might
Hard
just
to
be
say.
planning to use Crackling Rot on it, and he needed to do that in order to stop it from buffing itself.
Well, it can't buff itself.
Can it
Yeah,
not?
Troll does say another.
Yep,
I
Stink Troll
think-
specifically says another troop, which is
Well, that's
why.
terrible.
Yeah, which is why earlier in the day we actually saw 2 Stink Trolls that targeted each other, which was actually a big deal. Looks like a lot of priority and lag is happening here. Looks like the Zared was for comboing with Cogtopedal's Thirst. That will remove the Stink Troll, and in response, a Crackling Wit. I think this is it's like a 1.5 for 1.
Right.
Maybe like Zared Charge Power plus Cogtopedal's Thirst. But then there's even more value for Lost, really, because Pheelon isn't at 4 blood threshold, so the Cogtopedal's Thirst doesn't draw a card.
Yeah,
I
maybe
feel
a
like
little bit early.
he
for it
didn't
on
need
that
to
one.
do that. I think
Yeah.
he pulled the trigger a little bit too quickly there.
Yeah, I'm of the opinion that that was a pretty heavy-handed, like, I have to get rid of this before I take too much damage, and with so many cards in hand, maybe it wasn't the case. Deck of Many Things is at a ton of charges now and is just passing turns, so he must have... Maybe he's got a double Sapphire Threshold card in hand that he's waiting to play. What double Sapphire cards are we looking at here in Set 2 format?
Sorry, Tumbleweed. Yeah, I can't think of anything offhand that's playable, really.
Well, not even about playable, it's just really about having. I guess I could
mean,
go and look
he
at
may
his
be
deck
stuck-
list.
Yeah, we could look at his deck list, but I don't think we wanted to go there. But like he could be maybe just sitting on like a Zedu or something like that he just can't.
He could be
cast.
stuck off a 3rd threshold even. Looks like he's got that Gore Master though. That's a pretty strong start. Again, I'm not a big fan of Shard into Gore Master when Deck of Many Things was already at 5 resources. I can't imagine there was a whole lot there that he's worried about getting to 6 or 7 for, maybe a Warbot Windchip. So now the Clouds at 4 charges should be at 5. This is the point where I think I would have popped it if it was 5 for sure. Dishonorable Death, 5 cost, basic action removal, voids out that Gore Master, and would force Deck of Many Things to...
Oh
Sorry?
man, he's got the draw card.
Oh, that's big plays.
So explain the play. Explain the play.
So Highland's Magus hits the board, gains the Inspire effect of Cerulean Mirror Knight. So all 2 and higher cost troops that enter play will now have the effect that when they die, Pheelon will draw a card. He then pops his 4-cost Storm Cloud to create 4 2-cost troops, which do get inspired by that, and they all have relevant sacrifice effects. So that's a lot of card draw availability for Pheelon whenever he's ready. That's a pretty good response, actually. Zakir from Deck of Many Things.
But is it going to be good enough?
Well, he's not under any pressure yet. Deck of Many Things. A single Power of Zakir card could certainly change this. And without 3 Thunderbolts, not Thunderbolts, without 3 Biddy Bolts, he doesn't have enough sacrifice to just straight up kill Zakir. He's only got 1. Pheelon only has 1 card in hand, so it's a little bit of a toss up here. Does he start sacrificing, trying to find cards, or what do you do here?
I mean, definitely just get rid of the splashies and get all the cards and see if you can find an answer.
Yeah, I think you swing with the splashies, though, of course. Like, you might as well swing with both. Well, yeah, you swing with both. And then, are they basic actions, their abilities?
No, they're quick.
They're quick.
Yeah, so you can just sacrifice whichever one he blocks. Crackling Bolt off the foreground here, in addition to Zerid Charge Power from the Shard, in addition to sacrificing the Thunder Puff and the Biddy Bolt, is enough to get rid of Zakir. But that's, if it wasn't for the Highlands Magus having a specific Inspire trigger, 1 out of 19 here, or 18, I guess, because one of them is bugged, is pretty crazy. Gets to draw. Pheelon gets to draw a lot of cards here. Goes back up to 3 in hand. He's going to swing with the splashies to get damage in, and the Highlands Magus. Do you think he sacrifices the splashies here, or does he just keep them on board? I guess it depends on what's in his hand, right?
I mean, I think I would have swung there and saved the charge power, because if he'd have blocked one of them with Zakir, he wouldn't have needed to use the charge power. He could have just dealt the 1 damage with the splashy.
So that's an Azure Sorceress. For those of you that didn't get to read that in time, the major gem in Azure Sorceress is the draw a card out of the grave. Well, not draw a card out of the grave. It's
Return a troop.
return a troop from the graveyard to your hand. So if that Azure Sorceress manages, with its Flight Minor Gem, to deal damage, the major Blood Orb of Cruelty will siphon back, I have to imagine, the Storm Cloud. Although, at this point, it could actually mean cycling through double card draw splashies, because they will keep those effects in their grave forever. All of this really hinged on the Highlands Magus having a very specific effect here, because if the Highlands Magus didn't have that Inspire ability, like let's say it was +1 defense or +2 attack or any of those, it really wasn't as good of a situation for Pheelon, but the board control is much in his favor because of this. Looks like we're still waiting on some priorities here between the players, but a pretty good game so far. Still 3 cards in DeckOfManyThings' hand.
Seems like we may be having a connection issue again.
No, I think Penta is just catching his breath.
No, I mean...
Well, no, like in the game.
Oh, are we?
Yeah.
There's nothing to talk about. They're discussing reconnections and whatnot.
Hopefully it gets back in time. It's definitely an interesting game we got going on here.
Yeah, I can't imagine they won't have the ability to reconnect here. I have to wonder if DeckOfManyThings with 10 charges available, and I mean, if he's got a second Zakir here, that might actually be enough. I mean, Pheelon had to put a lot into getting rid of that first Zakir, so short of top decking another dishonorable death.
Yeah, but if you had Zakir, you probably would have just gone ahead and played it again, right? He had no reason to just hold back, did he?
I mean, did he just pass his entire turn?
Well, I think that's where we're at. Isn't Deck
Okay.
trying to pass his turn here?
I thought it was trying to...
Yeah, maybe it is the start of his. I don't know. It's hard to tell now.
Yeah, so it should be the start of his opponent's turn here.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, okay, so I guess DeckOfManyThings shuffled off his turn. 8 resources in hand. He didn't put anything down. That seems pretty brutal.
Imagine maybe he's holding Verdict at least. Probably Shards. Kind of makes the most sense to me. I feel like if he had the removal, he would have used it on As a Fate, like, immediately.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe he's got Time Wave, though. Who knows?
Well, it looks like he's just passing those priorities. If it's Time Wave, he will use it at the last moment possible, which will be the priority. I just saw him pass. And he doesn't. So As a Fate will draw a card out of... I believe you can only choose your own grave with that gem. Yep. So that's fine. He Takes back the original Spell Shield Highlands Magus. Oh, naturally, yeah. And it gains, in addition to Spell Shield, it looks like DeckOfManyThings doesn't care to look. He's just like, don't even want to know. I hope he checks that out for us.
Man,
at
I
some
couldn't
point.
do that. I could not have a Highlands Magus hit the board and not look immediately.
Yeah. I know.
Got it.
Like, you'd want to look. PTG Mock is saying Spell Shield, yeah, but I mean, it gains another Inspire effect when it
gets a
re-hits
second.
the board.
Yeah.
It's entirely possible that DeckOfManyThings didn't consider that. He's like, oh, it's got Inspire. Because it is an interesting part of the card. You would think that the first, like, with the way other Hex cards work, that you would play the Highlands Magus and then it would gain that effect once and then that would be it. But every single time you play a Highlands Magus, it will gain a new Inspire effect, no matter how many it already had. It can double up on some, which is bad. There are only so many times that a Cerulean Grand Strategist effect is okay for you. But,
Like 0 times.
yeah. Yeah, all of those.
All the numbers.
I would
so-
likely sasacrifice a damage here to
pop a splashy.
pop splashy, yeah, and then
Yeah,
get that.
100%. I think is the because like you're so far ahead at this point that more cards are the way to
Well-
go, and you're not changing the clock. Well, what? You can't start a thought and then finish it, Tech. We need you. We need you to follow through.
Okay, I'll follow through. I may not be willing to pop one because at this point in time, if my opponent only plays one troop and can only block one troop, I may be able to have lethal on board if I keep the splashy there.
I suppose. He knows for a fact he's going to get that splashy back next turn, so it's kind of just like a really weird situation. DeckOfManyThings lowers his handguard, and for those of you that can't see it on the main stream because our own handguard is in the way, he is holding 2 Crackling Vortex and 2 Sapphire Shard. If he's running 24 or 25 shards, he's drawn 18 cards this game, and he's holding 13 of his shards. That's a bummer.
That is a bummer.
But he puts his hand card back up, and they will get into game 2/3. He transitions out of his own thing. Oh, that was nice of him. So we won't see what reserves he puts in and out. Yeah, it's looking like a strong Blood Sapphire. Let me tell you that much. I don't know that. I mean, the game was over no matter what the Highlands Magus actually learned how to inspire. But wow, was that just a brutal pickup anyway? Because even if Matt could have answered the board state, he was still dealing with just almost infinite cards at that point.
Yeah, I mean, if he was in trouble, like Pheelon could have just sacrificed both splashies, draw 4 cards, hopefully get an answer, or at least buy some time.
Yeah, I think best case scenario, like the only thing that really saved.
Another Zakir would have probably been enough, but
It depends. Like at that point, I think he needed to hit the Glimpse of Insanity, the void each non-dragon card to just get those cards away and done
Yep.
with.
yeah.
So we're back to the proving grounds. Game 2 underway very soon here. Proving grounds giving off, their typical nonsense. Looks like Deck of Many Things gonna have to quickly go back to his deck manager and check to make sure things are all good.
Yeah, it looks like he had renamed different versions of his deck. Maybe chose one that he had sideboarded out wrong or something.
That's 2 more packs, JJ. It's rough, man. You're just gonna owe us so many.
I'm only 2 more than you so far this one.
No. I should catch you on all the ones. Man, the proving grounds during these big tournaments is always just such a scramble. I really cannot wait for there to be a better alternative to this.
Would love for us to host and use the tournament servers for this.
Oh, that'd be cool. It's just like it's difficult to adjust for like random entries at that point. You can't catch like if somebody decides to cheat, you're just like, well, that's how it goes.
Looks like Pheelon saying that the second one was Cerulean and Spell Shield in that last game.
Yeah, so the Cerulean. Which Cerulean? There's 3.
Yeah, presumably Mirror Knight, but yeah, he just said Cerulean.
Yeah.
Cerulean.
Oh,
we didn't
I
see any.
Oh, he does mean Mirror Knight because the last splash he had 3 extra on death. Right.
That's messed up.
So Shard of Cunning and another Shard. I've discussed this a lot. What do you guys feel? Like every turn 1, we've seen a Shard from the players, but not on every turn 2. Isn't this an awkward pattern?
I think it's fine if you put 2 Forge of Kadak in play on the first turn.
Yeah,
that's
maybe. But the turn one Shard always looking good. Babylon Horse is saying that that's the best card blocker ever.
I mean, sometimes you don't even need Threshold, right?
Yeah, no.
No.
Sometimes you don't even need Threshold. Turn 2 Stormcloud is adventurous. I have to take it that means that there's a turn 3 play follow-up. Otherwise, you would just hold it for turn 3, play the Cloud, then play the Shard.
Maybe another Cloud?
Maybe another Cloud. Also probably means no Cerulean Grand Strategist. Cerulean Grand Highlands Magus in hand. No Highlands Magus. Thought this was a PG-13 stream. Well,
Also,
we're
putting something
restreaming.
down to remove against a Goremaster deck is like they waste the charge on Crackling Bolt for one, and they also don't put the troop down on turn 3 so it can attack you turn 4. So it's not a terrible idea.
That's fair. Looks a little bit worse when turn 3 Shard no play, although that's probably holding up Crackling Rot. Yeah.
It's a counter magic.
Arena Regular comes down next to Arena Regular. Another case of orcs or trolls in this tournament giving high fives to each other. They got their hands up, ready to hug. Every charge gained will deal a damage to Pheelon for every Arena Regular on the board, which is why he immediately says no thank you and uses Crackling Rot to reduce that to 1 for Deck of Many Things. Deck of Many Things, 3 cards in hand, already at 5 charges and at 4 resources, but things not looking fantastic while his whole board gets cleared out. And 1 alternate art, Azure Fate Sorceress, really weirdly. Once again, Flight and Grave Digging, I have to imagine, are the case here. That's cruelty. I don't really understand why saving things from the grave is cruel, but yeah, if that gets back the Stormcloud, Deck of Many Things is going to be in some trouble here.
Have we seen anything that the Azure Fate can inspire yet?
No. No.
It
Have
is
to
a good
wonder.
one.
Well, that's a good one.
There it is.
There's the Killipede, which is now a flying Killipede, first off. And it's also a flying Gravedigging Killipede. Yeah, very specifically, I have to imagine like the only answer here would be like Zakir that gets to stay on the board. And that seems incredibly unlikely.
He's
Again,
a shot away from Zakir as well, which is not
yeah,
good.
yeah. Plays. Oh yeah, he is shard away. It's 6, not 5. Yeah, Pheelon plays a shard there as well. I think holding onto that shard would have been okay, given that he just grabbed back Stormcloud, but we don't know what 6 and 7s he has here.
I think this is brown trousers time for Deck of Many Things.
Yeah, this I can't imagine there's much coming back out of this one. That Azure Fate with that particular gem, pretty scary.
Even if he takes a Toxify, right? Even if he takes a Toxify and then manages to kill the Killipede, the Azure Fate's still there, and they can just get it back out of the graveyard. And
yeah,
put it down again.
that's really the issue here. Is he can't just remove the Killipede; he has to remove the Killipede and the Azure Fate Sorceress, which, like, the only card that I can think of that would really work for that right here would have to be like. Well, I mean, the situation would have to be that Pheelon would need to block with the Killipede here,
Right.
and then the burn.
Yep.
And there's no way, yeah, he snap passes that. He's like, no, thank you. Boulder Toss could have gotten rid of the Killipede for a turn, I guess. Not sure if we haven't even seen one from Deck of Many Things, but he is running Gore Master, so you can't imagine he's not.
Having said that, though, there's an out here for Deck of Many Things. Obviously, Pheelon's going to attack. If he manages to get that damage through and then Cannon Volley, that would take out Pheelon next turn. But that's a pretty big ask, I feel.
There's also the slight possibility that Pheelon just takes enough damage here and dies to an action. Especially because... Alright, so... Oh. Oh.
That's another flying Killipede.
Yeah.
About that.
That's another flying Killipede. That's not just a million legs chasing you. That's a million wing legs times 2. The Swagapede knows no bounds. 3 cards. Deck of Many Things has 3 cards. If there is a shard and 2 boulder toss, he can survive for a turn. Otherwise, I think he's digging. He's digging real hard.
No.
Yeah, he's gonna type good game here. That's that. Mr. Matt Miller, Deck of Many Things, champion of the hand guard of the Mentor of the Grave, is not in a good position and looks like he is going to be going from 3-1 to 3-2 here in round 5. Crackling Vortex in hand. He's going to go for that Mentor of... Well...
It's a lot of damage.
That's still a thing here. He attacks with both. He gives Crush to the Mentor. He's playing to his outs here. You play it out no matter what happens, because just in case, right? If he's got Boulder Toss. Wow, that's ballsy.
Well, he knows he can give Crush.
Yeah, he knows he can give Burn, I guess. He would get Burn otherwise. Yeah, I guess if... That's tough to say. So down to 3. Hovering over that proceed to end phase. This is tense. DeckOfManyThings making us wait this one out. Did that crackling vortex... Oh, he's typing GG. All right.
Aw.
He made Pheelon wait a second there too. He was like, "All right, Pheelon, you wanna guess if I have Bowler Toss or not?"
Bolt would have done it.
Yeah, Crackling Bolt would have done it too.
Crackling Bolt would have done it. Which is, I think I would have blocked with that Killipede, to be honest. I don't think I could have gone to 3 there. Good try by DeckOfManyThings.